Hello there. It's Mike.
And Jesse.
That's right. We're coming back with episode 188. This is part 4 of Jesse and Mai's discussion about Phase 4 MCU thus far and more this week on Cup of Rad. All right, so we are back, and we are going to try to wrap up what's available on Marvel's Phase 4. Jesse is back in the studio with me. I don't think he's left in weeks. He's disheveled, he hasn't showered, and he hasn't shaved. And there's beer cans everywhere.
Yeah, it's a good time, okay?
It's like,
and I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, are they actually going to wrap it up? Is this actually going to be part 4? And there's a little tiny part of you that is actually a little sad at the prospect of this being the last one. But you know what? You don't have to worry about that because this is MCU Phase 4. There is 5 and there is 6, and you best believe I'll be back for all of them.
That's right. And the hope is that they go to 12.
The hope is that they go to 12 before I die.
I would hope so. Phase 6 ends in 2026.
Ooh, I don't know. Sounds a little dicey. Remember, beer cans everywhere. Beer cans everywhere, and I have not stopped talking about onion rings. Do you think I'm gonna I'm a pillar of longevity right now? Probably not.
Fair enough. So in episode 1 and 2, we talked about the movie side of the thing, and then episode 3 of this 187, we talked a bit about the television. Now we're going to try to talk about what was left in the television that's come out so far. Actually, by the time this episode hits, a show that we can't even talk about will have hit.
That's true.
Which is pretty wild.
Won't we sound silly?
You'll just have to come back and we'll just have to once Black Panther comes out, once She-Hulk, the Halloween special and the Christmas special comes out.
Right.
We'll just part 5.
Okay.
That in December, right?
Yeah.
Or January or something.
You mean when we're back on holidays?
Yeah. That'll work.
Yeah.
So onion rings, how's that going for you?
I know everyone is probably dying for updates on the onion ring food truck. All I can say is the wheels are in motion. But you'll all be better off when I get there.
See, the puns hit. So what if was the first animated MCU show?
Yes, and we did briefly allude to what if earlier when we were discussing Multiverse of Madness, because as it turns out, quite a bit of what was shown in those episodes made it into the actual non-animated MCU. So I don't know about you, but how did you feel about what if as a concept when you first learned about it?
I was curious about how it was going to play out.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was a cool idea because it's harkened back to all the comics that they've done over the years of the whole what if idea.
Yeah.
Where they just get to play in the sandbox. I was a little worried about the idea that them saying that it was canon.
Okay.
Right? Because they did mention that there was going to have stories that could affect. And I thought that was weird.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because
especially for an animated series, right?
Being animated, also what if.
Yes.
It just kind of didn't feel right. And it was weird that some actors came back to play the characters that they were and some did not. Right?
Yeah, that was interesting.
So Benedict Cumberbatch came back.
Yep.
Chadwick came back.
Yep.
But Holland did not. Right?
Nope.
So
we didn't get who else didn't? Oh, there was quite a few.
Oh, there was, yeah. But Carter, the one that played,
yep,
she came back.
We did not get the original Steve Rogers.
No.
But yeah, it was a very interesting series. I did not know what to expect from it, honestly. I honestly did not expect some of the episodes to be as dark as they were.
Yes.
Which was really interesting. But I also didn't expect that I was going to love some of these variations as much as I did. I think it was the second episode with T'Challa as Star-Lord.
Mm-hmm.
Like that was one of my favorite episodes just because it was so it was just so funny to see such a completely different turn of events.
Oh yeah.
To these storylines that had already for us, transpired.
Yeah.
So that was a lot of, I had a lot of fun watching this show. As I said, I did not expect so much of it to make its way into the actual MCU.
Yeah.
Simply due to the fact that it was animated and very Twilight Zone-y. So, but I'm honestly glad it did. I mean, it explored some pretty cool scenarios. So I was happy that they got to use them.
The thing that was interesting about it was that it started out feeling like they were all just one-offs, only that then the last couple episodes blend together to create a cohesive story.
Yeah, that was a really interesting twist of events.
Ultron, Omega, or whatever, Alpha, or whatever he became.
Yeah, Ultron with the Infinity Gauntlet. Like that is terrifying.
Right?
But yeah, I like that. It was almost like a bit of a fourth wall break, right?
Mm-hmm.
In the show where it's like this isn't just a cartoon show. This is like, then you start to feel like this is happening in real time, and I think that's what makes it feel more relevant to the MCU too, because it was very interesting the way they did it.
For me, the Doctor Strange episode I think was the best.
Yeah.
Just not because of like the humorous, like the different, it was just the darkness that came from it, because it really felt like a complete almost movie.
Yeah.
With how far that story went.
Yeah.
To show how far that version of Strange was willing to go and how much he not only doomed his universe, but also still tried to save it even when he was in the most, because of what he created could have destroyed multiples.
Absolutely.
Right. And I think that was a bit of a adventurous take on that character, without going too like crazy.
Yeah, because I mean, in all of the other episodes, like you saw different versions, but really everyone was still basically a hero, right? Everyone was still basically trying to fight the good fight.
Yeah.
And then you have this Doctor Strange where he's basically gone totally off the rails, and but done so in a way that you can almost sort of you can understand how he got to where he got with it, right? So that was really cool.
I think it also signaled where the movie could potentially go, and where the movie kind of did start going.
Yes,
right.
For sure.
With the fact that Doctor Strange ends with him opening his third eye still, which was kind of that like signal of like shit's gonna happen. Like having that third eye potentially can ruin you, right?
It represents like a threshold being crossed, right? Which is very important. So
totally. One thing I forgot to mention, I'm gonna dive back to No Way Home. The fact that there was the weird squid things and all that in Doc Strange's fridge in the basement, the dungeon, the wizard dungeon.
Right.
Is a throwback to Jason Aaron where Strange is eating that stuff to keep his magic up. Right. And I wonder if that'll cross over in any of the book, and not the books, but the movies, if we'll see Strange starting to consume creatures.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're definitely seeing,
because that's what we saw in What If.
Yeah,
it wasn't the actual like eating.
Right. So, yeah, I mean, we're definitely seeing an evolution of Strange, right? And the character, I think, is going to play such a pivotal role in this whole multiverse saga, and I think that's why, his movie kind of is such a kickoff point for it, because I think it feels like they're setting him up to be a major player in this saga. So yeah, we could see an evolution where he does turn down a path, and maybe that is something that he has got to, maybe that's a path he goes down and then has to come back from, you never know. So it's going to be interesting to see where that goes for sure.
What If also handled zombies?
Yes. Which that was interesting. I really did not expect that to play any part in the MCU, because I knew that, there was there was quite a few comics about the Marvel zombie creature. So I thought that was just kind of a nod to that. But then seeing the Doctor Strange inhabit the dead body and have him look pretty much exact and behave almost exactly like those zombies. Yeah, it was like, wow, they even use that. Yeah. That's pretty cool,
right? And then seeing your zombie hunter Spider-Man that's acquired the cape as well, and all kind of going together. I know that was one thing when people saw the bloodied Wanda, there was all the speculation, was it zombie Wanda for Doc Strange? But of course, it didn't go that way.
No.
What did you think of the Captain Carter episode?
I really liked it. Like, that one felt like it really could have been what happened. Like, it really was not so much of a deviation from the actual from what actually happened, that really could have been what actually happened in there. So it was interesting. I liked the fact that it didn't just kind of eliminate Steve Rogers from the equation, and that he was able to really be the first Iron Man then from that. Like, I thought that was a really interesting idea. I liked Captain Carter as a character. I think if there was an alternate reality where we didn't have Captain America, we had Captain Carter, I feel like that would not detract from my enjoyment of a Captain Carter franchise. Like, I feel like that could have been fantastic. So I thought that was a really smart choice, a really smart idea, and I'm glad that they were able to capitalize on that in the Multiverse of Madness too.
It was interesting that they followed suit with her getting the stealth suit and having the same Winter Soldier type of arc within that episode as well. Right?
Yeah. It was really cool to see. For sure. Yeah. I like that.
You mentioned the Black Panther as Star-Lord was your favorite episode.
Yeah, I think that was my favorite episode. Just honestly, just for the interactions, like even like with Thanos and seeing Nebula and all these characters from Guardians of the Galaxy, and just how different things turned out. Like, that he basically managed to diplomacy Thanos down to being like, you're right, that's too extreme. Like, I love that. Like, it's because he's honestly like the character of T'Challa was always very he had always had this warmth about him that I felt like that a lot of that came from Chadwick's portrayal of him. So I mean, I don't know. So there's something so appealing about the fact that, just talk to him. Just talked him down, basically.
Those were great moments, because it was a great parallel to see because it started the same as Guardians, but then it deviated. Yes. Right. And then you had those moments, say with Thanos, and the fact that he made them all Ravengers and all these threats. You're right.
Yeah, and he's basically turned the Ravagers into like a peacekeeping force almost, right?
So that was definitely a fun episode to see where it all kind of ended up. And no, I agree. That was a good one. The Killmonger one was definitely different.
Yes.
And added a different depth to the character of Killmonger.
Yes.
I believe. But also it was interesting that he was chosen to be basically a defender, or whatever they were trying to call themselves for that moment in time. For sure. Anything else you want to add about What If?
No, I don't think so. I mean, just basically it was a fun little, it was more fun than I expected it to be. And I'm glad that it actually had an impact on the actual MCU. I think that was the main takeaway from that. So
we're going to see a What If 2.
Yes.
It's getting a season 2, right?
Yes. And now that's going to be interesting, because I'm going to be like scrutinizing everything under a microscope now, because, not everything they showed in What If affected the MCU, but you're never going to know which
one's going to pop up.
Be. Yeah.
Now, the interesting thing with What If 2 is that it's actually going to have 2 episodes that were originally supposed to be in season 1.
Oh,
but cut for time.
I see.
So, and ability, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So that's going to be kind of the unknown of what, because I know the Gamora episode where she becomes like Thanos is there. So that's kind of confusing, right?
No, it's going to be interesting to see too. Like, I mean, part of the appeal of What If was then that switch where it became, not just a one-off, like you said, but like a continuation, because there was like this threat to the Watcher. So I wonder, like, if there's going to be something similar, how that's going to work. If
maybe that's where Kang will come in for you.
Maybe, and is it going to be the same thing where it kind of starts off as a one-off and then escalates? Like, is it going to be acknowledged what happened before? Like, there's a lot of what if.
A lot of questions. Probably my favorite series that has come out so far is Hawkeye.
Why? It's terrible.
Because it was a lot of fun. It was one of those shows that was
so much fun.
That I felt really did bringing in a new character.
Yep.
Almost justice.
Yep.
But it also set the stage for the next 3 MCU shows to follow the same pattern.
Right.
And I realized that, and that's my one gripe that has happened. The only difference is that I'm going to use a legacy character to be the bridge for it all.
Right.
I thought Hawkeye just did a really good job of being a Torch movie almost, or Torch series. And also having it that it took place at Christmas was a fun, difference.
So much fun. It felt like the MCU had the energy and the excitement of a Home Alone movie.
Mm-hmm. Right. So I was excited, and Kate Bishop was a really good addition to the MCU, and Haley Stafford, I think, did a great job bringing her wide-eyed optimism.
Absolutely.
And they also pulled out some of the things that I wasn't a fan of the comics at the beginning, when she was more of a brat.
Right.
And now she's a bit more of just the wide-eyed, I want to be a hero.
Yeah.
And not only that, we got those seeds that were planted in Widow come to fruition with
with Yelena tracking down Clint.
Yeah. And I feel it was a really satisfying story, because we got Clint's story, because we got to see the damage of a non-soup.
Yep.
And all the problems that occurred. Like, it was awesome to see his deafness show up that they never talked about in the movies, but has been there in the comics. And to almost show that flashback of why he has a hearing aid.
Yeah. In
like a split second of like all the explosions, all the things that he's been in. And so, like, no wonder he's messed up. Right.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, no, we got Yelena. We got Kingpin.
Kingpin was a huge addition to this season,
and being able to have him face off, and as much as I know he's a powerhouse, but having Kate still stand up to him.
Yes.
I think was a really cool thing, because I think it's almost a learning thing for him, because he just thinks he's the shit and that he can't underestimate any of these people. Yes. Right. That want to stand up to his corruption. Right. And having Vincent D'Onofrio come back as Kingpin. Yes. And that's something we never talked about, with Matt Murdock showing back up being Charlie Cox.
Right. In Spider-Man.
That
was a great scene.
They're bleeding the old Netflix stuff is starting to show up. Right.
Yes. Which is really nice to see. It's really nice to see, because that Netflix stuff was technically supposed to be part of the MCU, right? I mean, they did reference, the Battle of New York, and they did make subtle allusions to the Avengers and things like that, right? I mean, it wasn't like they never really got the big guest stars or the cameos, but there was technically kind of a fringe part of the MCU, right?
Yeah.
So it's nice to see them sort of embracing that. I mean, watching Matt Murdock catch that brick come through the window, I mean, that was badass.
Yeah.
And provided like just a perfect like that was like a perfect cameo right there. Like that was fantastic.
It was simple. We got it. We understood it.
Yeah.
And
it was impactful.
Yeah.
Like, it was
cool.
a
great introduction to the MCU for him as a character, right?
Exactly. So good.
So and then seeing with and I think that's what made Kingpin's involvement in Hawkeye so impactful too.
Yes,
right?
Because now we're getting more of that, which implying more of a connection and the possibility that we're going to see more of these characters too, which is very exciting.
One thing I did love about Hawkeye was just actually getting to see him use his bow and arrow.
And all the trick arrows.
Yes. And not shying away or really making a joke about the trick arrows.
No.
Like actually like showing that they're useful.
Yes.
Right. So I remember you watched one episode and you messaged me and you were like, did you see that?
Yeah.
Was it the suction cup or the putty or something like that? Which one was it?
What it was.
It was the battle on the bridge.
Yeah.
That one. And I was just like, yeah, dude. Yeah. Like I was so excited to see that.
Yeah. It was so much. Oh my God. I mean, that really added to the fun of the series too, is getting to see all of those being used. And like you said, used effectively, not just as a throwaway gag, but like actually being useful. And, not just like, oh, this one explodes and this one shred. Like there was actual like tricks to these trick arrows, right? So
and ways to use them too, right? It wasn't
effectively.
So I thought that was kind of cool to see. The fights in this was really good though. I really liked all the fights in them because it was that grounded kind of battles that we got to see.
And at the heart of it all, it was really like a story of a man trying to get back to his family for Christmas too, which is like such a wholesome concept, right? And then you've got that wrapped in this MCU package with this really interesting complex character who's been through some shit. It was a fun ride. Every episode was fun to watch.
So far out of all the TV, it's besides What If, but What If I feel like I could watch kind of one-offs. Hawkeye I feel like I could rewatch as a series. And maybe it's because I love the characters more. Yeah. But it felt like a fun show because it really blended that MCU humor with the action. And there was I don't want to say it wasn't serious, but there was a lightness to it that was not in like, especially like, I think in something like say like Falcon and the Winter Soldier, there's a heaviness to everything that's happening. This was just lighter. Like it wasn't that there wasn't threats or anything, or that it was, being goofy or silly, but I don't know. It's hard to explain. It's hard to explain, but I also genuinely felt that Clint was going to die. For the bulk of the series, I kept feeling like he was going to end up, and it was nice that he didn't. It was nice that he didn't, but it was also nice that you had that feeling, right? Yeah. Because despite the fact that it felt light and fun, there was that sense of, oh my God, is he going to make it? Is he going to actually like live through this? Like he's got a Black Widow on his ass. And he also had Echo. And he has Echo on his ass. So he had double duty of those two that were right there. Yeah. And that's, I think, what really made it feel like he might not get through it. Right. It was nice to also see all the Fraction stuff from the run show up, like the Tracksuit Mafia and Pizza Dog. That was really cool to see all those. So it's still, to this date, I think my favorite of the MCU shows. I would agree with that. Yeah. Because it's just, I would say so. It's just a lot of fun. And it's got LARPing. Right.
I mean, we cannot not mention the LARPing because I mean that it's so funny when you're like watching the first interaction with the LARPers, right? I'm thinking, oh, this is like a hilarious throwaway, little knowing that the LARPers were going to have such an impact on the overall arc of the show.
And they build the suits and everything.
They build the suits and oh my gosh, like, that was great. I love that. Like, what if. So funny, and what a great kind of like nod to like the almost absurdity of these costumes sometimes, right? Like the fact that his is pretty tame compared to some of them, but just the fact that it was built by LARPers and all, it's just beautiful.
Well, the fact that he was always just like, well, I don't need a costume. What do I need? Like, no, you need to rebrand. You need to be
exactly
right. So I thought that was definitely a cool thing. With that though, because we talk about the fact that it, with the bases going forward,
yes,
Echo is getting her own show,
yes,
which is really interesting because it was thought at the end of Hawkeye that she had killed.
Yes,
it was that idea that she had killed Kingpin.
Yes.
So I'm curious to see where her show goes because you don't really ever see either of them walk away from there.
No, but correct me if I'm wrong, but he is going to be in Echo Kingpin, is he not?
What I've heard.
Yeah.
But he's also going to be in Daredevil.
Yes.
Born Again.
Yes.
Right. So it's.
Yeah. So that's going to be interesting. The thing is, despite how Hawkeye ended, I was not convinced that he was dead. I was not convinced
I assume not.
that was the last we were going to see of him. I truly felt that it was because it was not a fitting end for the Kingpin.
Yeah.
This is not how the Kingpin ends in this universe. So I would not be surprised to see him. I'm kind of interested what Echo is going to be about. Like, is it going to be more like what is it going to be like taking place after the events of Hawkeye? Is it going to be like how she kind of came to be? Is it more of a prequel to Hawkeye? Like, it's going to be interesting to see where that fits in.
And that's another one of their TV shows that I'm not entirely sure about because we have Echo and Agatha, both shows that kind of feel out of place.
Exactly.
For what stories and characters that, aren't really like, I want to know more about Bishop. I want to see where she's going. I'd rather see more about Winter Soldier. Like, I want to know what's going on with White Vision.
Yeah. I mean, it feels like it's tempting to say that those feel like they could be just standalone one-offs, but then after the impact of What If, it's hard for me to think that none of any of these series would be not somehow related to the overall picture. Right. So
they're all just there for end credit scenes to do something on the next.
Introduce new characters.
Right. Because then too, like they say, we were announced Daredevil, 18 episodes.
Yeah. That's huge considering like most of these Marvel series 6.
Yeah. I'm going to assume it's going to be broken up into like seasons. I don't think it's going to be one season, 18 weeks. I don't think that would just be.
I mean, I'd be really happy, but.
Yeah, it'd be pretty amazing, but I just don't feel that that's logistically.
Maybe they're just going to release them all at once.
That'll never happen.
18 episodes, all at the same time.
They'll release 6 at a time.
You think so?
Yeah. 3 seasons.
First season will be Daredevil Bor. And then the second season will be Get.
Right? Yep.
And then third season N.
It could be. Or it's just, Daredevil.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
What do you think about the yellow suit coming back? Not coming back necessarily, but coming.
The first time we're going to see him in the MCU in a suit is going to be in She-Hulk, which comes out this month, which we talked about. We haven't seen.
You mean is already out?
Yeah, it's most likely.
Wink, wink.
And the yellow suit's supposed to be in there. I think it's pretty cool. I think it's a great way to almost differentiate from the Netflix stuff.
Yes,
right.
I agree.
But
I also like though that it's not like a yellow spandex jumpsuit like the comics. Like I like that it's got the elements of the yellow suit without being the yellow jumpsuit kind of type thing. Yeah.
I really feel like we will end up seeing that this is going to be probably a different Matt Murdock. Different
how?
I think it's just, I think the Netflix stuff is just going to be part of the multiverse.
Okay.
I think this Daredevil.
So you think it's like more like a reboot almost?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I think it's going to follow suit in that I could be wrong. I'm wrong multiple times, but I feel that'll be their way of getting away from the R-rated Daredevil.
Right.
And adding more of the PG-13 Devil, right?
So do you think we're going to see like a Foggy Nelson and that sort of thing in this reboot?
We could.
I mean, someone like Foggy is very integral. So is someone like Stick.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's going to be interesting. Part of me hopes that it's not a total reboot because then I'm worried that they're going to try and like wedge in too much origin stuff.
Yeah.
But at the same time,
but look at Spider-Man.
It's the same actor and the same, like, it would just be really dumb to redo his origin because it's literally the same actor. And
but that's what I wonder. I wonder if it's going to be like the idea of like, that could be part of the timeline, but maybe because we have to tame it,
right?
It's not going to be as right.
Oh, I hope they don't tame it too much.
I still have faith that their action scenes will be epic enough that they don't need the sex and the language to.
Yeah, but maybe I need the sex and the language.
That's a different episode.
That's a different episode.
No sex and the violence. But I don't know. I think it'll play out fine. I'm curious to see how it looks. Sure. You know, my biggest thing with the Netflix Daredevil stuff was that I felt like some of the sex and the violence took over from the story.
Okay.
And I feel the action was epic. There was a lot of great action scenes throughout it. It was just, sometimes it just felt like it was like, well, how can we keep this rated R? And some of that stuff just didn't feel like it was needed. So you felt
some of it was gratuitous?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And I know I get a lot of flack for that because, you know, I feel like a lot of these characters live in a PG-13 world and we don't realize it because the bulk of the stories were told in, you know, rated T books, but we assume it should be rated R.
Yeah.
Right. So I don't know. I'll be curious to see because I think even Deadpool, I think can fit in a PG-13 world and still be hilarious and still be worthwhile.
Totally.
But I know. What do you think of the yellow suit? I know you mentioned you like that it's not the spandex look, right?
Yeah, I like it. I mean, the little brief glimpses that we got of it, it looks slick. It looks very cool. It doesn't look also like a Iron Man version of the Daredevil suit, which is nice too. Like they're keeping it the basic, just like, you know, body armor type thing without being, you know, overly mechanical or whatever, which is
good,
which is really good because I feel like that's a bit of a crutch sometimes in the MCU is to make a suit.
Yeah.
Right. Make a fancy suit that does stuff. But that's not the character, right? I mean, all his abilities come from within, and that's part of the appeal of him, the Daredevil, right? So yeah. I'm hoping we get to see more of the Billy Club. Because like it's such an iconic weapon for him, and we really did not get to see very much of it.
And that could be the tease with it being in his hands in that She-Hulk thing,
right?
So I'm assuming we're gonna get a She-Hulk Daredevil fight.
I mean, that'd be pretty awesome,
right?
But at the same, and it's interesting too, though, because I mean they're both lawyers, right? So does that mean there's also going to be opportunity for them to meet professionally as well, right?
I wouldn't doubt it.
Yeah.
Because otherwise that's a missed opportunity, right?
Totally.
So, Moon Knight. So I didn't know much about this character. Otherwise, it had Egyptian roots.
Neither did I.
It was crazy, right?
I remember, I know I'd heard in the past that he was, a lot of people said he was kind of like a Batman type character in the Marvel universe, but I did not know much about him. But really interesting to actually read up on the character, because he's really interesting when you actually read about his origins and how it became, like, you know, kudos to Marvel. They keep churning out these like messed up characters that have so many problems, but somehow like find a way to be a hero. And you know, I really think Oscar Isaac did a fantastic job.
He
as
totally
Moon Knight.
did.
He was amazing. He was just so captivating and so likable, and so you just could not help but root for this poor man.
Yeah.
You know, and I loved the chaotic nature of the first episode where you were just jumping all over the place without really knowing what fully was going on. Right. Yeah, I thought it was interesting. I've always loved Egyptian mythology. I almost wish there had been a little bit more of that in there. But it was really interesting to see all of those elements. I thought it was well done. It was, again, it had its slower moments. But I really enjoyed the story. I enjoyed the kind of like reveal at the end with the third personality. And like, oh my gosh, I loved that hippo, the hippo goddess. What was her name? But yeah. And then I love the fact that that one woman became the avatar for her as well.
That was
really cool.
That was really good.
There were some really unique fight scenes in that show that I really enjoyed too, just for the fact that you know, there were some more supernatural fights, which is always kind of interesting. And I loved, you know, him switching back and forth between the gentleman Moon Knight and the badass mercenary Moon Knight. Like, I thought that was great. And I thought the costumes were fantastic. Yeah. I loved the costumes in that show. Visually, it was very appealing too. Yeah. Like, it was really, really well done. So yeah, overall, I really enjoyed it. I'm excited. My only thing about Moon Knight is it didn't give you really any sense of how he's going to fit into the MCU. It felt very standalone. Yeah. Which, not necessarily a bad thing, but I feel like the intention is to have him more part of the MCU, but
yeah, at the same time, I don't know, because I know Isaacs had talked about the fact that he was really excited that he necessarily wasn't going to be attached to things. Okay. So unless they're going to be going into territory of like the Midnight Suns, right, and doing like, you know, Moon Knight, Blade, you know, Ghost Rider, doing like a dark universe feel.
Oh, Ghost Rider,
right?
Now that would be an interesting thing to revisit,
right?
I've read a bunch of Ghost Rider comic books, and again, that's another very interesting character that I think got, you know, done a little bit dirty.
Because you've had two incarnations of him, right? Nick Cage, and then you've got the
on Shield.
Yeah, Shield version,
right.
The Jamie Rice.
I'm actually rewatching Shield right now too, so it's kind of interesting to go back and revisit that. But yes, there is the Shield version too. I didn't mind that one so much. The Nick Cage version, I didn't dislike so much, but I just don't feel like it really did the character justice.
I remember enjoying the first one more.
Yeah, the second one was not as good as the first one. That's for sure.
So, but yeah, I'm curious to see what'll all open up now with all that. Moon Knight was interesting just because as you said, it stood on its own. It brought in a lot of mythology. It added a lot of difference and almost like the mystical nature to things, which was kind of cool because with say Shang-Chi, that one had a mystical nature, so I wonder if any of that'll tie together. But yeah, I just don't see Moon Knight being on the Avengers.
No, right? I don't see that either. But it's interesting because like the ending of the show definitely did not imply that was the end, right? Like it definitely hinted at more to come, but it's hard to know where that's going to fit in.
So maybe that's the thing, because we were looking at the fact that right now for Phase 6, the only thing that's announced is like Fantastic Four and 2 Avengers films. Yeah. I could see a season 2 of Moon Knight that has nothing to do with anything that's going on.
That's true.
Right?
He could join the Fantastic Four.
Wait, the Fantastic Four won't be in the traditional Fantastic Four. It'll just be like
Fantastic Four.
It'll
be
Avengers.
A ragtag group of individuals just random. It'll be, you know what? It'll be Moon Knight. It'll be who else? It'll be Moon Knight. It'll be Ben Kingsley's character.
Trevor Flattery.
Trevor Flattery, Moon Knight, Agatha, and Groot.
That's a painful Fantastic Four.
That is the fantastic. That is your Fantastic Four. That's
painful.
what everyone's gonna get hyped about.
Make sure it's Baby Groot though, right?
Oh, of course it's Baby Groot.
Yeah. The one that's potted too.
Yeah. We're gonna have it like adolescent Groot. No.
Yeah, like I think there's a lot of great acting in the Moon Knight show. Like
yes.
But this goes back to the thing that I was telling you though, is like it's almost similar with, say, Falcon the Winter Soldier and Hawkeye, where we kind of wait until the last episode.
Mm-hmm.
It's the origin tale of like how they get from point A to point B. And that's my disappointment with these three that we're talking about in this section.
Right.
Is that they all kind of follow that same formula.
Yes.
Where it's like the whole angle is to see that character embrace their costume.
Yes.
By episode 6.
Yeah.
Right? So that was my only real gripe with Moon Knight, and the fact that there was some fight scenes that I felt like were a little gypped on.
Mm. Oh,
it was really
because of the blanking out. Yeah.
It was a cool idea.
Yes.
But there was like a lot of those things of being like, but
I really wanted to see him kick ass there.
Right? Yeah. Where were those?
But could we just go back? Like, and so maybe, I mean, I would love it if there's a season 2, if like there's a flashback and we actually get to see what happened during that.
And
fight.
that would be amazing.
Like that would be such a hype way to open up season 2 if they do that, because I agree with you.
Which they could do is cheated. Because then they could start delving into Jake.
Yes.
Right. And finding out what he actually does, because we don't know much about Jake.
We know very little.
Yes. So there is more there for sure. I know Ethan Hawke just had recently done a lot of interviews that said basically he liked the idea of playing in the sandbox, and that he was excited to step into a role where he's not necessarily contracted to do anything else. Right. So I think that's kind of cool to look at it. The latest television show that dropped was Miss Marvel.
Yes, which just recently wrapped up. This felt very fresh right off the bat. This felt very fresh. I love the visual style of it. I felt like, we weren't, I think Marvel's getting better at allowing actors and actresses that are closer to the age of the character that they are playing to play those characters, which I really appreciate. This unfortunately, this one, it kind of started with a bang and then I feel kind of fizzled out a little bit. Yeah. It was not the most exciting Marvel series that I've seen. It was interesting, and I really liked the all the exposure to Pakistani culture and all that, but I feel like it just dragged in the middle. There were a few episodes in the middle that just dragged too much. And again, it's like you said, it's that there's all this build up to the big costume reveal, and then we get that, and then it's over. Yeah. And it's done. And it's, in a way, it's a good way to keep people watching till the end because they want that payoff. Yeah. But when you do it every single time, it gets a little old. Yeah. A little tired. And it's overall though, I did enjoy the series. I think it was interesting. I got so excited with that little mutant hint, and then the little theme song playing. Oh my god,
that was big.
I was watching with my roommate. We both kind of turned to each other. Like, did you catch that?
Right?
Yes.
Well, that was a moment I paused it and I looked at Katie and I was like, did you hear that?
Did you hear? You know what that was, right? Yeah.
So Miss Marvel has had the biggest change for her comic to MCU counterpart.
Right.
Right off the bat, she is an Inhuman, so she's not a Jinn.
Yes.
Related, and she's not a mutant.
Yes.
Now, that being said, the creators of her had said that she was originally supposed to have been a mutant, but at the time of the comics, they were promoting the Inhumans. So they had made that change.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And her powers are similar to Reed Richards.
Right.
The fact that she stretches and she grows and stuff like that. The embiggening. So her she is definitely almost a made up creation for the MCU because they because of them now being able to do said Fantastic Four, it feels like they didn't want to have a stretchy power that was the same. So
it definitely felt different.
Yeah. So there like those moments where like she's had so much changed about her power set, which I'm a little disappointed by.
Okay.
Because I really enjoyed the comics. I really enjoyed that first few runs of her as a character. But that being said, the actress that plays her brought to life the character and the spirit.
So, yes, absolutely.
That I can forgive the changes enough to enjoy the series.
Yes, I absolutely love that.
Because the spirit of the character is there. That big, wide, I need to help. And maybe I'm not perfect, but I'm going to try my damnedest.
Yeah.
That is there. And so that the changes I'm okay with. You are right. The series did hit a lull by going into the past, but I think that's the struggle of them changing the powers. Yeah. They had to find a reason versus huffing the gas to get to be Inhuman, the Terrigen Mist, right? Right. So I think it's like this series struggled with that because they had to change it to give it an identity. Right. But if they hadn't had to change it, would have it been able to been quicker?
Yeah,
right?
That's a good question. Like, that's a good question.
So
my hope with this series like that is that there is going to be a bigger payoff down the line, right? Ultimately, that is what I'm hoping. We are setting all of this stuff up. Again, we're in basically, phase 1 of the second era. Yeah. Phase 4 is phase 1 of the second era. So I hope that all of these things that are getting set up during this phase, there's going to be some more payoff down the line. Yeah. That is my hope.
Now, that's the thing is that this one ended with not only her finding out she's a mutant, but then also getting sucked to somewhere. Yes. And and Captain Marvel showing up.
Yeah.
Right. And that
was unexpected.
So there's something's connected.
Yes.
Right. Which will lead into the Marvels, the sequel to Captain Marvel, but also inevitably the sequel to this series.
Yes.
Right. Which is interesting because what we've heard about the movie is that we'll have Captain Marvel, we'll have Monica Rambeau as developing her powers that she got in WandaVision because she was mutated by Wanda. Yep. And now we're going to have Miss Marvel, which I think will be an interesting change in, because we're not getting necessarily a direct solo Captain Marvel sequel. Right. Right. Which it'll be kind of wild, I think. Because we'll be dealing with so many characters with the mantle of a Marvel.
Yeah,
right? Yeah. Because Monica is supposed to be a future Captain Marvel, right? As well.
Yes,
like,
that's
it's kind of like this weird, like world they're playing in. Interestingly enough, Carol Danvers has another costume in that end credit scene.
Yes.
So in her appearances, she's only had one movie. She's had 4 appearances and she's had 4 costumes.
Yes.
That's a lot.
That doesn't include her civvies.
Like, yeah, I was surprised by that because we've got the movie version. We've got what she looked like in Infinity War. Yep. What she looks like which is kind of a blend in Endgame. Right. Yep. And now she has another suit, which looks more simple.
It did.
It almost just looked like a jacket and pants.
Yeah.
Right. So
maybe she got sucked out of like bed. Maybe that's just her pajamas.
Maybe.
I mean, we never. You don't know.
Right. But how weird would that be to be wherever you were and you get sucked into a bedroom that has posters of you all over the wall?
I mean,
I know it happens to you on a regular basis.
My friend's house. Yeah.
Yeah. You get that. Take that one off the wall next time you come over.
But that was a gift. That was my gift to you.
I like the bearskin rug was a little too much.
You said it was tasteful.
Yeah. But the tattoo was a little much.
Knew it.
I think next year's calendar should be a little different.
Okay. Well, I'm working on some stuff.
Okay, now. Good.
There's stuff in the works. Okay.
Don't worry. That's what we should do. We should make you a calendar.
Yeah.
And we could sell it like on an OnlyFans kind of thing.
You just want to do a calendar so you can put me in all the many Halloween costumes that you said
I wouldn't doubt.
that I need to wear.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just going to be a Jesse of the month and a different Halloween costume every time.
I don't see what's wrong with that.
Well, of course not. I mean, it would be very successful and very popular.
Right?
But
you've got all your Hollywood friends.
Oh God. Yeah.
That's
I'll send a free copy to Jude Law and he can tell all of his friends and
we'll send like a
promos out. Yeah.
Proceeds out to we'll pick a charity and that's what we'll do.
I don't know if we need to pick a charity. I'm pretty poor.
I think 10% or something will go to
struggling EA fund.
We'll find something because that'll help.
Sure.
And if anyone wants to see a Jesse calendar, like hit me up because we could make this happen.
Yes, let us use your platform to exploit my body. This is great. This is fantastic. This is everything that I hoped it would be.
Now you wish we were talking about food, weren't you?
Now I wish we were back on onion rings. Yes.
So out of all the shows that have come out, because now what was your favorite though?
Out of the TV shows?
Yeah, the TV shows.
Oh, definitely Hawkeye. Hawkeye was just honestly, this is going to sound bad and that I don't appreciate them, but Hawkeye was fun. It was light and I didn't have to feel so emotionally invested in it. And it's not that I don't like being emotionally invested in shows, but sometimes you sit down and you just want a good time. I get that. You don't want the heaviness and the heftiness of moral obligation and responsibility and social commentary. Yeah. Right? Sometimes you just want to sit down and have a good time.
Okay.
And I think Hawkeye managed to accomplish that. Bringing in a new character, working with a well-established character. It was a lot of fun.
Okay. What has been your least favorite
of the TV shows?
Yeah.
Ooh. That's a tough one. I think, oh gosh, least favorite.
I know that put you on the spot, right?
I think I'm going to have to say Ms. Marvel.
Okay.
And it's not that it was bad.
Yeah.
Like I did enjoy it. Like I've enjoyed all of them, but I think that one it just didn't hit enough high points for me. I loved it was great. It was enjoyable, but it just didn't, it wasn't like, I wasn't like super pumped to watch it every week,
That's fair.
So what about you? What was your highlight and what was your low light?
Hawkeye for me.
Yep.
Honestly,
as a low light. Yeah, definitely.
That was my high.
Yeah.
Falcon and the Winter Soldier, honestly.
Yep.
I don't think I would go back and watch that series.
Yep.
Some of the other ones I feel like I could go back and watch.
Yep.
Like Hawkeye for sure. But like I enjoyed Ms. Marvel just because of the exuberance that the actress brought to the role.
Yeah. And the visuals were very cool in that.
Yeah. And there was that excitement. But yeah, sure. Falcon and Winter Soldier was just very dry to me. And I feel like that one easily should have been a movie. And I would have been, if it had been 2.5 hours, I think I would have been just as happy as can be.
Yeah.
I feel like that one could have easily been that. Some of the other stories, not so much. There was too much going on in a lot of those. But
sure.
that's the one that I felt was long. I felt like there was filler.
That's fair. And honestly, like it would have been between that and Ms. Marvel for me as that. The only the only reason that Falcon and the Winter Soldier is a little bit above that for me is just, I don't know. I really love the characters.
No, that's fair.
And I feel more invested in those characters than I do currently in the ones with Ms. Marvel. Yeah, exactly.
Those ideas, right?
So,
no, that's completely fair. So going forward, we've kind of touched on a few things that are happening, maybe with the television. But the next thing, so when that She-Hulk and then Black Panther and Phase 4.
Yes.
So that's kind of like the end. Phase 5 begins with Ant-Man and the Wasp in the quantum realm.
Yes.
Right? Or Quantumanium.
Quantumanium, yes.
So that there is the first big movie, which comes out February.
Yes.
And then after that, we have Guardians Volume 3. Are you excited for Ant-Man and Wasp?
I am. I love Ant-Man. I mean, he's such a lovable character.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't not like that guy. Paul Rudd does such a good job of making him he's one of the most likable, relatable human Avengers. Like he doesn't have his shit together. He bumbles, he messes up. He's just trying to figure things out as he goes along. And there's such a wholesome relatability to him.
That makes sense.
And he also has just wonderful comedic timing too.
That's fair.
So I'm looking forward to it. I know that like Ant-Man, I think, is a very underrated movie, the original Ant-Man.
Yeah.
Did it have the best villain? Absolutely not. But I think it was overall solid with great humor, and I love his little cadre of amigos.
Yeah.
That are a part of it. So I'm really looking forward to it. I honestly don't know too much about this movie. I haven't dove down the rabbit hole.
They showed a trailer at Comic-Con. Anytime it shows up on the socials, it gets taken down because the effects, that and Guardians, the effects aren't ready enough to show. It was basically like they're good enough to show you at Comic-Con because you're seeing raw footage, but it's not good enough to be scrutinized under the lens of right.
But I mean, chances are, if it's coming out in February, probably this fall we'll start to see some.
Yeah, trailers. We should see something before. I would assume before Wakanda hits.
Yes.
Right.
I agree. I imagine that's going to be one of the trailers you see when you watch Wakanda Forever too. Is going to be the full theatrical trailer for that. So
spring is also supposed to have Secret Invasion.
Right, which is a TV show.
And that one there, Sam Jackson's coming back.
Right, which is kind of exciting.
The actors that are playing some of the Skrulls in Captain Marvel are coming back.
Yes.
Besides that, there hasn't been a lot of information on that one.
No, but I am really curious for that one just because, the name suggests it ties to the Avengers Secret War, right?
Yeah. Well, I'd be curious because those are two different comic events.
They are.
Right?
They are.
Vastly different comic events.
Yes, that's true.
Secret Invasion is a modern event.
Yeah, that's true.
Dealt with the fact that the Skrulls have been infiltrating for years and that the heroes that you knew weren't the heroes that you knew.
Yeah, and Secret War was very different.
Well, Secret War was way back from the 70s, 80s?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Right? And dealt more with that's where Spider-Man got his black suit. Right, originally. So I'm curious to see if they are going to tie or if they are going to be separate. Right. Yeah. Because what we know is that Nick Fury's been off world for a while now.
Really long time. Yes.
Right.
So whatever it is that's going to be bringing him back to Earth, it's got to be something pretty hefty, right?
Yeah.
Something pretty hefty in the works here.
So is it going to be, are we going to actually finally see evil Skrulls?
Yes. Which would be interesting.
We've yet not seen that in the MCU. We've only seen good Skrulls.
That's right.
So I think that'd be kind of
refugees,
cool.
right?
Yeah.
So
from that, May brings us Guardians Volume 3.
Right.
That's one of my most anticipated Marvel movies because I've absolutely loved the Guardians movies.
Guardian movies are fantastic. I think that's going to be really good. Do you know anything about the storyline for Volume 3?
It is to dealing with Rocket's past.
Okay.
and his creation and Adam Warlock.
Yes, right, because that was teased at the end of the last Guardians movie. Right.
So,
gosh, they really put a pin in that one.
Right.
But yeah, no, that's right. I remember that now, of course.
So we're going to, it's basically, it's dealing more with that. And it's going to be the last time we see this version of the Guardians.
Yes, that's right.
So it's a good possibility we could see deaths.
Yeah, for sure.
I know Batista says that he is done with the character. So I'll be curious to see where that's all going to go. And this is, of course, James Gunn's last film with Marvel. So luckily he was able to come back to finish his story.
Very, very lucky, yes.
So, but yeah, this is that out of the entire phase. When I look at that phase, that is my most anticipated film. I'm beyond excited for it. Echo comes out. We talked about that. It comes out in the summer.
Yep.
Also in the summer is supposed to be Loki season 2.
Excellent.
So we'll see where that goes. And that's where I'm assuming we'll start seeing Kang more. The Marvels is supposed to be July of next year.
Okay.
Yeah, next year. So that's where we'll see that. Blade is fall, November.
Makes sense.
Ironheart as well. And Ironheart's going to be showing in Wakanda Forever.
Right.
So, and that's going to be the new Iron person.
Yes.
And then winter will bring us Agatha. Spring brings us Daredevil. And then Captain America New World Order comes out May 2024.
It's a long ways away.
But not.
But it is.
But not. Because then November. So currently we go May and November for film.
Right.
Fantastic Four is November. So they haven't announced any TV from in basically July 2024 is Thunderbolts. Sorry.
Okay.
Thunderbolts ends that phase. So I'm really curious to see where any of that goes.
Absolutely.
Like that'll definitely be a interesting phase because
there will be many more multi-episode discussions ahead.
Well, that's the hope and dream, right?
Yeah.
To dissect all of this, because like once those other, like, because we still have this year, we still have She-Hulk, we have a Halloween special, and we have a Christmas special,
right?
And then we also have Wakanda, so like there's still more to talk about.
And, honestly, like again, what if makes me think that maybe these holiday specials are not just going to be like little throwaway things. Like
I think there's still going to be
don't think
pieces
anything
in there.
is throwaway at this point. I don't think anything is. So.
I think they alluded to possibility of Werewolf by Night will be in the Halloween special.
Okay.
The Guardians Christmas special, that could be a bit of a throwaway.
Yeah.
Right.
As long as it's better than the Star Wars Christmas special.
I know he joked about it being there might be some parables. Also, there is the I Am Groot series.
Right. Yes, that is is that out already or
no? Well, no, it'll be out once these drop. Once people hear this, they'll already watch them. They're just short films, but they're
I watched the trailer for that.
The realistic CG when he's like still like Volume 2 Groot.
Yeah.
Not adolescent.
Right.
So, but yeah, no, that'll definitely be a wild adventure going forward.
I think so.
For the most part, as much as this phase hasn't felt super focused, this is the first phase where we've had so much, right?
Yes.
Because a lot of the other phases, they didn't deal with television. This is the first phase that's dealt with television.
Yes, that's right. So we're getting a lot more content than we did with the initial phase, like the first 3 phases, right?
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Now, question: would you rather see the X-Men show up as a Disney Plus show or a movie?
Oh, definitely a movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. As much as I would love a series, I find in general I prefer the movies to the series. And I guess it would depend how they do it too, right? Yeah. But I think right now I would love to see a movie.
Yeah.
That would be
the big question will be is what I'm wondering is that because we've heard, and especially with the fact that they're revitalizing the 90s cartoon for a sequel series with X-Men 97. Yeah. And we've heard the X-Men 90s theme twice now.
Yes.
Is that a hint?
Is that
or is that just a nostalgia we're gonna,
Yeah, I don't know. I hope it's more than just a nostalgia, because I mean that 90s show, there's it's such a gold mine, really. Yeah. Of
now who would you cast?
Oh God.
If we were to fan cast, and I know fan cast can also just be a ton of bullshit.
Oh boy.
Or did I just put you on the spot too much?
Well, who are we fan casting here? Like, who are we assuming is going to be a part of this team? Like, are we fan casting like a live action of the 90s characters, or what?
I would I'm assuming because we're hearing that 90s X-Men theme, I don't think it's by coincidence.
Fair enough.
Because honestly, if they open a trailer and you saw those costumes in real life,
yeah,
I'm sure people would lose their shit.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Oh yeah.
If you actually got to see whoever you cast as Wolverine with a mask in that tiger stripe suit, like, that's huge. Right?
Oh yeah.
Like, or even like Cyclops with that blue and yellow, right? Like the
classic, yeah.
Right? Storm all in white.
The little tease we got in the was it Dark Phoenix, the end of Dark Phoenix, that we got the little tease of the classic X-Men costumes?
Oh yeah, Apocalypse.
Or was it Apocalypse?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where they then threw it away for Phoenix.
Yeah.
But who do you see as some of these characters?
Ooh, that is.
Or do we not want to speculate because we'll just be disappointed?
God, see, I feel like. Okay, so right off the bat, I would assume that they're gonna go younger for everybody.
Yeah.
Just because, like you said, then you get the longevity out of it, right? So that being said,
well, because I know a lot of fans want to put Carl Urban as Wolverine because of really? Butcher, right?
Butcher
and the boys.
Butcher? Oh,
right?
Okay.
But he said, "There's no way they're going to cast me because I'm too old."
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
And I like his honesty with that, of being like, no, like, they need to cast someone younger because it's a commitment. It's a 10-year commitment.
Not that Carl Urban ages very much.
No.
I mean, he does not look that much different from Lord of the Rings.
No. But I appreciate him saying, like, being like, no, I'm too old to do this. Like, because any of those Marvel movies, when you look at these phases, if you think a saga is three phases,
yeah,
it's at least 10 years.
You know what the problem is? The problem is running out of actors and actresses that haven't already been in Marvel.
That is true. Right? So they're going to have to start thinking outside the box, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Or we're going to start seeing a lot more unknowns or lesser known actors step into some of these roles, which isn't a bad thing, because I think it's good to see some of these people actually get a chance to play in the sandbox.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So, okay, who would you not want to see? How's that? Is that an easier question?
Does not make it any bit. I actually, I do have one thought. Jean Grey, Catherine McNamara.
Okay, refresh my mind.
So she was in Arrow in the later seasons. She was also in the Shadowhunters. Okay, she's the main character in that Netflix series Shadowhunters.
Okay,
and then she played Arrow's daughter from the later episodes of that.
Oh, the one from the future.
From the future.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, she's already shown that she's got action chops, and I think she's young enough that she could do I think she could do a good job as a Jean Grey. That's all I got.
That's fair. That's fair. I thought I'd throw you on the spot to see, because you never know what could happen.
Yeah.
Okay, how about this? Let's make this easier, because actually,
You keep saying you're gonna make this easier, but you don't make this easier.
what mutants do or you don't want to see in that first movie?
Oh, okay. I would really okay. Oh god.
Apparently, I didn't make this easier.
You did not make this at all. No. Hard to say.
How about one you want to see and one you wouldn't want to see?
I want to see Nightcrawler.
You want to see
I
Nightcrawler?
want to see Nightcrawler. I want to see him. Just yeah. I love Nightcrawler. I would also really love to see a good Gambit.
Fair.
You know, we have been so cheated from a decent Gambit.
Yeah.
I would love to see him in there. Mutants I don't want to
see. If we see Nightcrawler, I want to see Nightcrawler with confidence, though.
Yes,
because that was the one thing I didn't like about any of the interpretations.
They're all
Fox.
just the timid ones.
Yeah,
but it's like give me the confident.
Yeah, give me the swashbuckler. Yeah. Give me the one that will pick up that sword. And I want to see the white. I want to see the white.
Yeah,
the that suit that he wears.
Oh, okay.
Like the white hands.
The
white feet.
And
the shoulder pads.
Right. The like almost like samurai type.
Yeah.
Red. Yeah.
Give me that.
This is maybe going to be a little controversial. I don't want to see Jubilee.
Fair.
At least not right away. Maybe bring her in later, but I don't need to see Jubilee right now.
I feel like they need to almost, and I'm always big on the idea of creating multiple trilogies. That's why I wonder if a TV show would work to set up things. But I would love to see them start with the original team.
Mm-hmm.
Sure. Scott,
Beast, Iceman, Cyclops, Angel.
Yeah.
Jean.
Yeah, right there. The core. Right?
Sure.
I'd love to see that first kind of setup. Then I'd love to see the Uncanny.
Right.
With
Colossus,
Storm, Banshee, Wolverine, Nightcrawler, Thunderhawk.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right? That first kind of go. And then I'd love to see the jump to the 90s.
Yeah.
Where we get Jubilee, Storm, Rogue, Gambit, Beast is different.
Blue Beast.
Yeah.
Yeah, but not with the cat face.
No cat face.
No cat face. Yeah.
And no ape feet.
Yep.
No ape feet. And not like the Hulk.
Yes.
Just give me a big fuzzy blue man. Like,
hey, I'm right here.
New costume idea. I'll get the airbrush kit.
Oh, Lord.
And the ox hair maybe will glue to your body.
It sounds itchy. I don't like where this is going.
It's just gonna turn out to be like the Grinch.
So many regrets.
But I think it'd be cool if they'd be able to figure out how to, because like the X-Men have had such a history where there's so many that I think it's going to be hard to pick and choose.
Oh, it is, because you're always going to have people that are going to be like, well, why didn't you have this character?
Yeah.
Why didn't you have this character?
And that's why I feel like the theme being dropped those couple times in these movies could spell that we might be seeing that 90s, because I think as a general fan base, that is kind of the core, right?
Right.
The main kind of characters that most people want to see, and they include most of those. So
now, one question for you: who's the villain?
See, it's hard because we've seen him so much, but it makes the most sense to stick with Magneto.
It does.
Right?
He's the most iconic, and I mean, by far one of the most interesting.
Yeah. It's just going to be hard to do him because he's had two interpretations already.
Right. I mean, same thing with Professor X.
Yeah.
Like that's going to be
the constants, right?
That's going to be a difficult one to do.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's.
I think they have an uphill battle with the X-Men. As much as I'm excited to see what they're going to do.
It's true,
but I think it'll be difficult to sway with what stories, because like especially because well they've tried to do Apocalypse, they've tried to do Trask
Phoenix and Trask
Phoenix,
and
right, and the Sentinels and all that, right? Like,
yeah.
It'll definitely be an odd one to see where they kind of go. The idea is maybe they will just go with Sentinels right off the bat.
I just realized that Apocalypse is also Egyptian.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Mm-hmm. Played by Oscar
Isaac, who played Moon Knight, the Egyptian. Yeah. I just made that connection.
But he's of Cuban descent.
Well, I mean, that's what he says.
But yeah, I just think that's maybe it'll just follow kind of like, maybe you're just going to get everybody, and maybe they're going to play it off where Magneto is in that gray area where he's, but they're going to be battling Sentinels and the rise of people starting to mutate.
You know what I'd like to see, which, we haven't really seen much of, is I would like to see the Genosha brought into it. I think that's like, because I feel like that is a very realistic thing. As mutants start to come into their own, they're going to want someplace away from persecution. They're going to want someplace where they don't have to worry about hiding their powers or feeling different, right?
And they like tried to briefly do that with the Fox stuff.
They tried. With
the tent city that Magneto had.
But it's not the same.
No, not the same. Nothing. Like having the giant, like floating in space city that he had at one point.
Yeah.
See, that's the thing. X-Men is a tricky one. They're fun, but like they've got such a weird, convoluted story that it's, where are they going to go with it? And then the fact that we've had 20 something years of them in film will also make it.
Oh, I know, that's the thing. But the problem is, I think that the problem with the X-Men films is that there isn't anything that the X-Men films have done perfectly.
No.
There's never been a like, yes, that's exactly how that should have been. Like everything is kind of like, oh, okay, they kind of did that.
That was cool.
Oh yeah, that was interesting. Yeah. Okay, they're doing that. That's a nice kind of nostalgic throwback.
Yeah.
But there's nothing that the X-Men films have been like, wow, they nailed that. That's exactly how I wanted to see that happen, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's kind of like, I really feel that because of that, they're gonna be, I think, open to almost anything.
Yeah, that's very true.
So.
That's very true.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to cap it here.
I think that's wise.
I think, we've had 4 parts, 4 amazing episodes.
Yeah.
Discussing kind of where things are and everything.
Where things are going.
Yeah. Any final thoughts on your end?
If there is anything that Phase 4 has taught us about the MCU, it's that really, you can't go wrong with a nice plate of onion rings.
I look forward to your onion ring food truck.
Yeah, me too.
I hope this happens. I really hope that in time we'll be able to review your onion rings.
Yeah, well, Phase 5, I'm hoping by Phase 5, when we do that, I'll be well underway.
Yeah, testing.
Have the truck. Yeah, we'll be testing in various markets. If you would like to be one of those markets that I test in, let me know. Drop me a line.
Yep. Make sure to pick up his calendar too.
Make sure to pick up my calendar. It'll be available on Etsy just in time for Christmas.
You just wearing onion rings.
Yes, in various suggestive places. It was very uncomfortable photo shoot.
I went out.
Let
greasy
me tell you.
And hot.
Greasy and hot, as all good calendars are.
Right?
Make those firemen look like a pile of puke.
I really appreciate you coming in.
Oh, my pleasure.
Spending all these weeks talking about
week after week. He wouldn't even let me leave.
Hopefully you can go home and shower now. I'm sure your roommate isn't missing you.
Nah, he's fine.
But yes, thank you again, Jesse. I appreciate you coming in.
Absolutely.
It's been fantastic.
It's been a pleasure and a lot of fun.
It has. Hopefully you come back and we talk about other things.
Absolutely.
We didn't even touch on DC. I mean, like, there's so many things we could do.
DC doesn't need to be touched.
Thank you, everyone, for listening. And remember, stay rad, dudes.